We are Man vs. Meeple, and for May 29th through June 11th, this is What's Next.
Welcome back to What's Next, the bi-weekly show where David and I will walk you through all the games coming out to your friendly local gaming store. We have 5 really unique games this time.
Yeah, quite a variety of games here for sure. We've got some light ones, we've got some fast-paced ones, and we've got some pretty heavy Euros as well.
I picked number 5, and to be quite honest, I don't know a whole lot about the game. We just received it yesterday. It's called O Captain. It's from Ludena and Asmodee Games.
Beautiful looking.
It is. It is a 3 to 6 player bluffing game, but I like what it's trying to do. So one player is going to represent the captain, and he's going to get 5 coins in front of him and a little captain's jar.
Yeah, it's like a message in a bottle, right?
Yes, and he's going to send his staff out to an island or to a cave, and they're going to draw 1 card and bring that loot back to the captain. And they're going to tell the captain what is on that card. And they're going to lay it face down. The captain has the option to buy that, whatever that card may be, from them for 1 coin. And if he does so, he can take that card into his possession, or he can let the crew member keep it. Now, the crew member will want to lie about what they're trying to get, or maybe not, because if he buys it from them, he'll flip it up, and if it is what the crew member had said, he gets to do what it says against any of his crew members. And they're typically bad. They allow them to steal cards or steal coins from them. But if they allow the crew member to keep it, the crew member gets to do whatever he says it was, which may not be what the actual card is, against any of the other crew members.
So a total game of honor among thieves or not.
Yes, but the cool thing here, too, is that the captain can change at the start of your turn. If you have more coins than the captain, you can call a mutiny and become the captain.
Oh,
and
cool.
the game will end once you find the merchant, and then you sell everything that you've collected to the merchant for whatever denomination is, plus any coins that you've collected.
We're going to have to try this as soon as we get a group together, for sure.
It sounds awesome. It sounds really cool.
I've got number 4, and we've had a chance to play this one a few times.
Yes.
Last year, was it, I think BGG-Con maybe, we had a chance to play it with the people at Renegade. It's Flatline.
Yes.
This is the next one in their sort of
Aftershock.
Fuse
Yeah,
universe,
they're calling it the
Aftershock
game,
universe. Again, a lot of dice rolling. This time, this is a cooperative game where everyone is trying to, you're rolling dice, of course, but you're tending to these sort of
It's like a triage
medical
almost. Yeah.
emergencies.
Yeah.
And there's an assortment of different things you can put your dice on, so it's a little bit frantic. And this is one of those games where you kind of need a leader. In fact, the rules suggest you have someone that kind of leads the charge. And I think when we played too, there's someone who's in charge of collecting the dice, which I think the rule book affectionately refers to as the dice monkey.
Yeah.
But it's a game where similar to Fuse, but not competitive, and you're all working together. There's, of course, something, ticking down the whole time. Yeah. Things start to spiral out of control because if you don't tend to what you need to tend to, some of these cards can come out, and you need to get rid of these things. If you don't get rid of them, they will start to cycle around the board and really start to mess with your game.
Kane does a really good job with this series, too. He creates social games that require a lot of interaction with the players and keep a high level intensity within the game as well.
For sure.
I have number 3. This one's called Fields of Green. It is from Stronghold Games. It is a 2 to 4 player game, kind of a tableau building, deck building game in which you're going to be collecting cards into your farm, building these out as resources, and giving you unique abilities over 4 years that you're going to play. Now, it's built off the Among the Stars series of games, which I really enjoyed. But to be quite honest, I like this theme a lot better. I mean, we're Americans. This is Americana theme, so to speak, and I can't wait to play it. I'm not sure how different it is from the original series, but it looks very interesting.
And this one hit around Essen last year, right? And Stronghold's bringing it out now.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. So number 2. It's time for heavy Euro. Yeah. This is also 1 to 4 players, just like Flatline was, but this one is a heavy Vital Lacerda game. Yep. And we had a chance to review this back in November.
Last year.
In fact, Vital was kind enough, thankfully, to Skype in with us and help us through our first game. This is a pretty meaty Euro, but I would say probably one of his more accessible games. I can hardly begin to explain in this short time how to play this game. Yeah. But it's got a number of different things going on. The really cool thing here, I thought, and what helped me play, the theme.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
The theme made it very accessible. Yeah. You're rebuilding Lisboa.
Yeah.
So historically, it went through this
earthquake,
catastrophic
fire, floods,
series of events that included floods, earthquake, and fire. And there's actually, at the very beginning of the game, you start by randomly seeding the board with these little cubes all around the city, or what's left of it.
Yeah.
And the cubes represent the fire damage, the rubble from the earthquake, and water from the flood. So you're like I said, there's a lot of things going on. You're utilizing a lot of economies here, a whole mess of tracks out on this board. But I'm more of a medium weight guy.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first heavier games that I took a liking to.
Yeah, to call it a accessible heavy game, maybe a little bit of a misnomer. This guy is known for Venus and Galleria, heavy Euro-style games. But it is good. This is a fantastic game. We've played it already. I have number 1, and this is something that's so out of our wheelhouse. We don't typically play these style of games. We've had a blast playing this one.
Yeah.
It plays 4 to 99 players. It's called Word Slam. It's by Cosmos.
We didn't play it with 99 players.
No, but it's this is such a cool idea. You're going to have 2 teams. Within these 2 teams, you have 1 captain on each side, and they're each going to use a communal card in which those captains are going to know whatever word they're trying to get their teams to guess. However, the cool thing is you have 105 cards that captain has to use without speaking, pantomiming, or covering other cards to get their team to guess that answer, and placing them on these stands. And you only place as many cards as you can fit on those stands. But all the while, your team is listening to what the other team is guessing, because they're guessing on the same common name or word.
That's the funny part, too, because you're looking at these words, and the words range. There's adjectives, there's nouns. So you're building these things, and you can kind of build out sort of try to build out a sentence if you can, but then you never know whether the clue giver's doing that or just kind of randomly throwing out words that they want you to associate with the concept. And the clues that they're trying to get you to guess can range from all sorts of things, movies to just simple words. So it's a really, really like crazy game. You'd think, well, that sounds like a lot of other games, but it's never been executed this way.
And it's fantastic because you can lead the other team to think. You could say like cat, and the other team starts saying dog, animal, duck, and it's a fantastic dynamic that goes back and forth between the teams.
That part really kind of spices it up because everyone's constantly listening to the other team.
We've been waiting for a long time to talk about what we feel is the gold standard in friendly local gaming stores. I want you to cover this because this store is phenomenal.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot in the past, and neither of us have been there exactly, but we got in touch with them last week. This is MOX Boarding House out in Seattle. They have 2 locations out there. One in Seattle, which is sort of their, I think, main location, and then they've opened one in Bellevue. These places, first of all, we're going to be putting pictures up right now. Those pretty much speak for themselves.
They define it.
It is an absolutely gorgeous sort of what, at least to our tastes, a friendly local game store should look like.
That total experience that you're looking for.
Yeah, it's a beautiful presentation. Not only that, they check all the boxes as well across the board. Obviously, their events. This thing was founded back in 2011, actually, by the brothers John and Damon Morris, and it actually is kind of an extension of CardKingdom.com, which was a Magic the Gathering retail site started by John in his basement back in 1999.
Wow.
So it goes to show you, like, what's now become what like Jeremy said, kind of the gold standard in board game stores, starting from such sort of small beginnings. I mean, they do a tremendous amount of business with the Magic side of things still, but they are very heavy on the board game front. In fact, they run a charity event called the Gauntlet once a year. That's a board game tournament, and it's for charity. In the last few years alone, they've raised over $300,000 for charity just through this one annual tournament for a few years. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. They have everything you could imagine. In fact, some of the stuff we've liked, wanted to see in some of stores locally here, like private rooms that you could potentially rent out. They have private rooms. Not only do that, but the private rooms are amazingly cool. We have to show this one picture. One of the private rooms just has doors all over it for decoration. So it looks like this cool sort of mysterious, interesting, sort of trendy design vibe to it. Fantastic looking store.
Yeah, if you guys are into board games and you guys make it out to Seattle,
I'll be going there for sure the next time I'm around Seattle. No way around it.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys watch the ticker below. It has all the games coming out over the next 2 weeks. And in 2 more weeks, we have Origins. We have even more titles coming out, some really, really solid titles next week as well. If you guys have any questions, make them in the comments below, and come back in 2 weeks for the next What's Next.
Bye-bye.